Welcome, everybody. Today's episode 2 of Inside the Process podcast. Today, we're here with co-host Emiliano Bustos, co-host Robert Little, and today our guest is Jorge Arellano, our great friend.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so just give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself. So what's going on?
Uh, I'm a senior at Terlinda High School, and I currently play at SJSU, which is a MLS Next club down in Palo Alto. And right now we're in the middle of our spring season.
All right, great to hear. So how's everything been? I know you just recently committed to San Jose State. Must have felt amazing.
Yeah, I recently committed to San Jose State on Thursday, and it took a lot of weight off my shoulders because my coaches at my club were constantly asking me like where and when was I going to commit, and as long as same with my friends, they'd constantly ask me, and they've been asking me for a while now because I went back to SVSA, and my head coach right now, Savio, is a former coach and player at San Jose, so they knew that he would help me a lot with my decision. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. Congrats first. And now let's kind of shift the perspective. Let's talk about your childhood. When did you start playing soccer? Did you play other sports? Just start from kindergarten.
Well, from what I remember, I just remember playing rec in Novato, a park near Hamilton. I've always played soccer. I never had an interest for baseball or basketball or football. I've just always played other sports. I mean, I've never played other sports, and my main focus, my main sport has always been soccer.
Since you've been committed to soccer for so long, run us through some of the clubs you've been around the area and basically your journey to committing to San Jose State.
All right. I think from when I was 7 to, let's say, 10 or 11, I've played at Novato United and Northburn United along with Robert and some of my closest friends. And then U12, they announced the new league, which was the Development Academy. And I went to Santa Rosa United along with Robert and some of our former teammates at the time. And I was at Santa Rosa for 2 or 3 years. And I left to Silicon Valley along with Kleber. And I was there for 2 years or so. And then COVID hit. And then there were some problems with the coaching and the parents. And so I left Silicon Valley, and I was at Dianza for a season, for the ECNL season, and I didn't like it. So I went to Napa because Napa was now becoming part of the new league, which is MLS Next. And me and one of my friends from Terlinda went there, and I wasn't liking it there because I didn't think we were that good of a team. And so then I went back to Silicon Valley, which I think helped me a lot with my recruiting process.
Yeah, I think it's good that you mentioned moving around. That's one of the things I mentioned in my journey. I think moving around with different coaches and different perspectives, it kind of builds more skills that you wouldn't have if you just stayed at one club. How do you think you grew as a player transitioning through multiple clubs like that?
I think it helped me a lot because when I was at Santa Rosa, as both of you guys were there, I played up with the 04s, and I think it helped me a lot, helped me with my character development, I guess, because I'm playing up a year, and I feel like the talent level was a lot different at the time when we were 14 and 13, and I just think it helped me a lot.
I mean, after all this entire journey you've been through from the clubs around the area, I know you've been to MLS academies here in the nation and then also overseas to Spain. I know when you were younger, you went to LAFC for a bit. You played a tournament with them, and then you went to Houston Dynamo for a week, and then you went to a camp in Spain with Atletico Madrid. Just tell us a few things what's different with the environment here from our normal clubs that we have to pay for, and the academy teams that is just it's more earned, and it's just tell us about what you learned of the environment there.
Yeah, when I went to LAFC, I was maybe 12 or 13 years old, and I was at Santa Rosa at the time. And when I went, it was for the GA Cup or the Generations Adidas Cup, and I went there, and I feel like their like whole coaching staff was a lot bigger and different compared to Santa Rosa. You know, they had a head coach, an assistant coach, and like a fitness coach, I guess you could say. And at Santa Rosa, we only had two coaches that would just take care of like 20 players. And so I feel like the MLS academies, they put a lot more effort into like their coaching staff, which could help their players a lot more. Yeah, when I went to Houston, it was more of like a goalie thing than a practice with the team thing. Um, for their goalie academies or their goalie coaches for the academies, they had three, and I feel like at the answer where I was at, they only had one, and he was still young and like a former player, so like the MLS teams, they focus more on like for their coaches, they get experienced players or coaches. Um, I feel like that helps players a lot, like me and like you guys. You know, it just helps us a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when you take away from this experience, like, you're there to show your talent, show if you can make it onto the team, but overall it's you learning and developing. And I feel like either way, you took what they taught you, and then now it's paid off. So I feel like going to these camps and investing sometimes, like people say it could be just like a money grab or something, but I feel I feel like if you actually take the time and invest in it, like it could benefit a player that actually has a dedication for it, you know?
So my next question for you would be, what do you think separated yourself from other keepers, and what extra work would you put in to improve your level?
I think something that separated me from other keepers was that I put extra work in, and I think it helped me a lot. You know, I'd go to train with you guys. You know, we just do passing, even if it was just passing with my left foot or passing with pressure, like from one of you guys just running to me. I think it helped me a lot because it's really game realistic, and it's just paid off.
I mean, you putting in the work with like us was like over quarantine because we had like that time away from school. We'd always just go to the field. But like if I remember us being in Santa Rosa and you trying to like distribute the ball, or the calmness you had on it, like when a striker's pressing you, it's like you could see the improvement to you now, where anyone can press you and you know what to do. You already have a step ahead in your mind, or you can play that 60-yard ball that can lead to an attack. So it just shows the work that you've been putting in. But is there anything else, like, I don't know, watching like game film or watching some keepers that are pro right now that like contribute to your playing style? Like, could you, if you can, like just name me some of those influences?
I think three of my biggest influences that I've had, I think at first would be Joe Hart. You know, just watching him when I was younger made me realize that shot stopping was very important, and it was like seen as the main focus as a goalie. I think two other influences that were big on me were Ter Stegen and Ederson. Um, I realized that when I was like 14 or 15, maybe goalies or like myself, I had to be a lot better with my feet, because playing out the back was such a huge part of my playing style at my club, and so I feel like just watching them just helped me a lot.
And I mean, after all that, like you've gained enough experience where you you just go out there and it's like a second habit, a second nature for you. And but you always have to react to what's unexpected. And I mean, high school soccer and club soccer is very different, and they're two different worlds basically. And I know if you've played 1 year, right, because of the DA and or because of
No, I
MLS
played
Next,
my junior year and sophomore year.
sophomore, so 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, just talk to us about the environment that Terra Linda created for you there, and then compare it to your club environment, and what's the main differences you see there.
Well, I think comparing like a high school soccer team and the let's just say like the club I'm at right now, SVSA and TL last year, I think is very different. You know, the playing style for most high school, mainly every high school team is just long ball, it's just kicking it, and where I'm at right now, we just focus on like keeping the ball, playing in the back, like just circulating the ball until they press, and then we'll just play through them. And I feel like in high school, there's a lot of players that are like don't even take soccer serious. It's seen as like their second or third sport, and so I feel like the level is just a lot different compared to MLS Next.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious as we've all been through that environment as well. But recently, we all know Terra Linda just won their three-peat. So
Yeah.
do you do you regret that decision of not playing high school soccer this year, or is it? I know it's been beneficial either way because you've committed, but wouldn't it have been nice to everyone wants that three-peat.
Well, I feel like my decision on not playing high school this year helped. I don't know what to say about it, but I feel like it was good for both of us, for TL soccer and for myself. It helped me with my college process, helped me a lot. And I feel like for TL, many of my teammates or my friends weren't enjoying my decision because they all, of course, wanted me to play with them. It's my senior year, and you know, obviously they won the three-peat, and I feel like being a part of it would have been good. But I don't regret my decision because I'm committed now, so I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, so to me, it sounds like a sacrifice. So, what other sacrifices have you taken? I know, like, personally for me, I've missed out on, like, probably, like, a bunch of parties. I'll have, like, a party invite, but I'd rather be at the field, in the gym, in the futsal court. I'd rather put in work than mess around and do something that's beneficial with my time and beneficial for my future. So just speak about some sacrifices you've taken to get to this level.
Yeah, I feel like junior year and obviously senior year, I started to make more sacrifices. I guess that would help me a lot more on the field. Even if it's just like preparing for a game the next day, it's just like stay home and like hang out with you guys and go out to a party or something. And I feel like obviously it helped a lot. I feel like it was more useful than going to some party.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
moving on off of that, I know you have a lot of, I would say your dad, I mean, we're good friends. He's really helped you get to the level you're at right now, too. Can you speak about, like, his influence on you? Because, I mean, you guys probably don't know this, but me and Jorge would go to the field, and his dad would come along and train us sometimes. So I think that's a very big role model and influence you had in your life, if you could speak about that.
Yeah, I feel like my dad was like always like on me for soccer. Ever since I was young, he'd always just try to help me with the basics, even if it's just passing with them or using my head to header the ball. And I feel like it helped me a lot. Especially when I got older. He would, fuck, dude, the games that he wouldn't be able to go to, I would send him the link for the film, and he would always just like critique or try and help me with what I had to improve on. And when we would go to, like, let's say your guys' game for Marin FC, he would also like critique you guys, or maybe just critique you individually, and he would just like my dad would tell you or Rowan or Clever that like what they should do better next time. And I feel like my dad has helped me a lot, and he's probably helped you guys a lot too, so just thankful for him.
yeah, I mean, it's always great to have that person to guide you through your life, and your life has been all soccer, so it's always beneficial. And like it's almost a plus one that he knows so much and was there for you the entire way that at this point, like in coming this fall, you're like it's your time to like start repaying him for all he's done for you. To take the drives late to Palo Alto or the games, the tournaments. So I feel like having your dad there every day for you is always something to be thankful for. And I mean, I know he like followed you on visits and stuff sometimes, and I know you went to SJSU for your final visit, but can you talk about like any other schools that offered you, or about like what other visits you went on?
Well, my only like official offer that I had was San Jose State because the college process it's very long and difficult, and you just have to like stay in contact with the school. So the main school I was talking to was San Jose because my current coach right now, Savio, my goalie coach right now, Rafa, and the '08 coach at Silicon Valley, Chui, who's the assistant coach at San Jose. All three of those coaches helped me a lot. They kind of like dragged me or influenced me to go to San Jose because those three guys are like wonderful people and they're good coaches, and it's just like someone I look up to, I guess, because they went there. Another school I was talking to was Oregon State. I started talking to them after my third game in the showcase back in December. I played well that game, and luckily the assistant coach was there, and he asked our head coach for my information and just started talking right away. But I felt like that Oregon State fell through because in January, their head coach at the time went to Austin FC, and so I didn't really get to know the head coach or anything. So it kind of slowed down my recruiting process. And so I went up to Oregon State on an unofficial visit when they didn't have a head coach. So I just got to know both assistant coaches. I got a tour of the campus. They showed me the athletic facilities, the school campus, where they train, their trainer, where they get taped up and everything. I met some of the players. They're all very nice guys. They seem like a family. They have a very strong bond. I watched them train for an hour or so, like a light training, because they're all coming back from vacations and from winter break. And then after their training, this player named Fran, who's from Spain, and another player named Chui, who's from Modesto. They gave me a tour, a little bit of the school. They showed me around, like what's around the school, like what is there to do. Showed me some of their dorms, classes. More of their where the players hang out on the campus. I was talking to Cal Poly Slow for a bit. They recently got a new coach. He was from Stanford, and the ex-coach at Silicon Valley, his name is Ben, who is also the Stanford assistant coach, knew the current coach at Cal Poly, so he was asking Ben if he knew any goalies that were available or that weren't committed. And so he gave him my number, and I was talking to him for a bit, but it also didn't go through because I was mainly focused on San Jose.
Yeah, so can you talk to us about your visit at San Jose? Like, what stood out to you and what made you feel like that was going to be your home for the next 4 years?
I feel like the thing that separated San Jose and Oregon State the most was that for the soccer team, Oregon State had a lot of foreigners. They had players from Germany. They had a couple Spaniards. They had players from Norway, France, Puerto Rico, and San Jose. They had a lot of players. Mainly, their whole team is from the Bay Area. From East Bay, down in Santa Cruz, San Jose, San Francisco, and I feel like I'd prefer to have a team that was, or like to hang out with people that were from the same area. It makes me feel more connected to them. And I think like the campus also helped me a lot. The Oregon State campus, I felt like it was just too big and everything was very spread out. You have the schools or the classes and the fields were right next to each other, and at San Jose they have one block that's just dedicated to their athletic facilities, and they have another block that's all dedicated to like the student life, the dorms, classrooms, and other stuff like that.
Yeah, so one thing that helped me make my decision was the coaching staff. How did the coaching staff at San Jose treat you that made you feel like you really could see yourself there?
Well, when I went to San Jose, their head coach wasn't there at the time. He was he was back at home in England. So I was with Chui, who is the assistant coach, who is also working at Silicon Valley. And prior to my visit, we've been always talking, before or after or during practice, and it just makes me feel like when I went to San Jose, it made me feel like I was at home. He's very welcoming, and he was just a very nice guy to be with. So I feel like Chui also helped me a lot to make my decision.
Now that you're committed to San Jose, you know where you're going, and that like extra weight off your shoulders has been like relieved. What like of course soccer is important, and everyone has that goal of going pro, and you have that chance of being selected in the super draft. But academically, what are you're trying to finish out? Sorry, English. So you're trying to finish out senior year, and now you're heading into college. Like, what's your major, and then what are you gonna intend to do on that if once your 4 years is up, you have to focus on your real life, because we always have to keep on moving forward.
Yeah, so I'll be majoring in kinesiology, which is basically, being like a physical trainer for like a club team. And so I feel like it's something that I've always liked to do because I've always wanted to be like if soccer, like if going pro like just didn't like just didn't happen or anything. I've always wanted to be something that was involved with soccer, and I feel like being a coach or a trainer is something that I could possibly enjoy doing.
Yeah, it's always great to like keep on turning in like if you have the opportunity to turn your passion into your job, so then you never have to like feel like it's work. So it's always great that you continue to pursue your passion, even though if it's not pro soccer, you found a different way to get there, and still have that sport be a part of your life every day. Yeah, you've obviously expressed and shown passion through your sport for these past multiple years, but it's always good to have a balance in your life, and you always have to have like hobbies that get your mind off of it to de-stress. So just tell us some of your hobbies that you do on your free time or what you like to do.
Another passion of mine or a hobby that I like to do is, playing pro clubs with you guys. We over quarantine, it was very fun because we weren't allowed to leave our house or anything. So I feel like just pro clubs has brought a lot of, brought a stronger connection between you guys or you two. And I feel like my friends from TL that you guys didn't know that as well. Like Gabe and Matthew a little bit. And I feel like my biggest or like most favorite memory from pro clubs is when you two were crying when we won Division 1.
Yeah.
I feel like it was very funny to me and to everyone else because I didn't think it was that serious. It wasn't that serious to me, but I feel like to you guys, it touched your heart.
Yeah, I mean, I still remember that day too. I mean, it's those little things in life that really like those are the things you remember the most, I think. And what's like a little moment in your career that may not seem like a lot to people looking in, but to you it was like your world?
I feel like something that's comparable to you guys crying was I don't know. I feel like getting first my first clean sheet at Silicon Valley this season because it was when I got scouted by Oregon State, and I feel like to some people it didn't seem like a big deal, but I feel like to me it was just I guess like the beginning of like my college recruiting process, and it helped me a lot.
I mean, yeah, it's something that means a lot to you, and it's understandable from your perspective and your point of view. But I mean, we always have to, as a player, we always seek to improve every day on and off the field. And now, once you're headed to college, like based like on your game specifically, what do you think that's one thing you could improve on to help you reach that next level that you're striving for?
I feel like something that mostly almost every coach I've had that's telling me that I need to improve on is being a lot more talkative or more demanding. You know, in a game, I'm the only one that can see the whole field. Everything's in front of me, so I have to demand or command my back four or back three or back five, whatever it is, to go into the space, tell someone to follow someone, and I feel like being more talkative is the one thing.
So what steps are you doing to improve that right now?
I feel like what I'm doing right now is just doing it on practice. On Thursday practices, we always scrimmage the O6s, and I feel like right there is just like the best place to do it. If you're gonna start doing it in practice, you're gonna start doing it in games, then it'll just help you for the future.
Yeah, you know what they say, practice like you play. So I mean, I love hearing that from you. I mean, I love seeing people want to grow. And you're a good example of that. You never got cocky, you never thought you were the best when most of us knew you were that guy. And then so like what keeps you so humble and so composed?
Uh, well, I feel like the main thing was that I couldn't really say anything because I wasn't committed. I feel like, well, like obviously, now that since I'm committed to San Jose, I don't want to start saying stuff like, oh, I'm D1 and this and that. But I feel like before I committed, or including now, I still don't want to see or say that I'm better than everyone else just because I'm committed to a Division 1 school. And it's just I don't see myself better than everyone else. I feel like everyone just is seen equally.
I mean, it's always that's a great perspective to have of yourself, just to keep your feet on the ground. And like that's something you carry out in your life, but what do you have like a specific like almost like philosophy or like stuff you follow every day that translates to your game or you as a person off the field that like has helped you a lot to through this entire journey?
I feel like one thing that's helped me a lot, it's both helped me, in life, in school or whatever, then and on the field was, it's just like treat everyone with respect, and just they'll treat you with the same respect back. You want to treat people how you want to be treated, and I feel like that's like the main rule that's helped me a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, the golden rule, we all know it. That's something I talked about in episode 1. Go check it out if you haven't. Um so another thing I want to hear from you is if anything changed after you committed. We asked this in episode 1 too to my loyal viewers. Um so did people start treating you differently, and did you maybe like start looking at the world a little bit differently?
Well, I mean, I didn't really see anything differently. I still see everything the same, but I don't think anything's changed either with the way I've been treated at school or at practice. Obviously people said, congratulations on committing and everything, but I feel like it's just them being nice or respectful. So I don't really see it as a being treated differently kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's always for you as a player, it's always great to receive that congratulations of all like the hard work you've put in and I bet it felt nice on that day or you like posted on your Instagram and everyone's like reposting and stuff. It's good to have that feeling that like to boost your ego and it's great to like feel like you're on top of the world. And then now that you've had a few days to like calm down and everything, it's like you're back to work and everything's settling in. But I feel like I haven't played with you since United, so I haven't seen you grow that much like on the field. But I feel what I remember is you playing up with the 04s. It's like you, it's not like you didn't want to lose, but like it was something that would like almost like piss you off. Like you're like that winner's mentality that you strive to be better and you want your teammates to be better, but like you yourself have that mentality that let you grow more. So like, is that something you're gonna keep on pursuing in college, or you're gonna take a different route of viewing the game in like in an aspect?
No, well, I think, obviously I'm going to keep that same mentality. If you're not trying to win, then why try at all? You'd always want to be first in everything, win everything. And so I feel like, why not try and win everything? So I'm just going to keep the same mentality in college.
I mean, that's great to hear, you know. And I mean, we've talked a lot about your process, your recruitment, and your entire journey as a player and as a person. And we're both excited to see where you go with this special opportunity. And if there's like one advice you can give your younger self, if you saw like yourself right now, what's like the most critical thing you'd tell yourself?
I feel like something that I told my younger self was, to never give up on anything, whether it's in school or in the classroom or on the field. Obviously, it's gonna pay off in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way to look at life. I mean, I think our audience will now get a good sense of who you are and really get to learn about you after this amazing episode. W's as always. Um, do you have any like final words, like maybe a thank you to the
Uh,
audience?
well, obviously, a thank you to you guys, for having me here. And thank you to the audience, everyone watching, especially if you stayed through the whole video. Uh, that's it. Just thank you to you guys for having me.
Peace.